Samurai and Her Guys video podcast. I'm your host, Steph, also known as the Knitting Samurai, and it is the last day of July 2015 here in beautiful New Hampshire. And I thought I'd try out this room again. We haven't used it in a while, different camera, so let me know if the lighting is bad, if you like it or not. It should be a short episode, and yeah, not a lot to share with you, but I thought we should definitely sit down, catch up a little bit. So here we are. First up, Raising Quilt squares. This is the blanket I'm working on for Tristan. I am knitting 10, I have knit 10 of this color, 10 of this color, and 10 of this color. And these three have been pinned out and blocked. And I use Soak Celebration. I've never used soap before. I've been a non-scented Eucalyptus girl my whole knitting career. And I finally broke down and bought some soap just to see what all the fuss was about. Oh my God, it smells so good. It smells so good. So I blocked 10 squares. I want to say like Tuesday night. No, Monday night. And I can't bring myself to start seaming. I need to though, because I'd really like to finish up this project. It's really nice. I used Leading Men Fiber Arts and dipping sauce. I used, what's this one? I'm thinking. Plymouth Happy Feet in turquoise, and Opal Rainforest in Merlin, which is my favorite color ever of opal. So I just need to get to seaming and finish blocking the other 20 squares. It's just, but it's the knitting's done, and that makes me joyous. So thought I'd share that. The other thing, a couple other things. What's in this bag? I'm not sure. I don't think I was planning on talking about it. Yes, I was. I moved bags. So this is the Easy by Martina Bem. This is the second one I knit, and this is Colorphobia in her LE Highlander Spring Jeans colorway. I have finished, I don't remember where I was last week, sorry folks, but I have passed the halfway point, and I realized that I started on the wrong point, wrong end. So that's kind of sad. So instead of being instead of looking like the picture, which is like that, that's what the finished product should look like, mine's going to have this curved edge all along. So on this, the curved edge is here and there. It's on the two outsides. Mine's are two opposite ends, like a parallelogram. It would be like the two long sides or the curved sides. Mine, it's going to be like a horseshoe. I think it'll be fine since it is so long and skinny, and you do wear this shawl as a scarf. No one's going to know but me, and it won't bother me to wear it that way. Plus, it's for me. It's not to give away. I still have plenty left. I bet I have half a skein left. I did have 530 something yards to start with. So, and I went down, or I increased up to 103, 104 stitches, and now I'm working them out the other way. So it's a really great knit. This is by Martina Bem, and I'm using US size 3s, 3.25 millimeter needles, and I highly recommend it. It's great. It's a good replacement for sock knitting, and it looks pretty good with self-striping yarn. So that's what this is, like the natural, not me manipulating it, self-striping. And then I mixed in some blue, and then here is the next section. It's natural again, so we get these big blocks of color. So it's going along. I expect to have it done pretty quick, pretty quick. This is gonna be a super short trail. The other thing I have to show you, see, I don't even know what's in, okay, that's what I expected to find in there. In here, oh, Barn Raising Quilt squares, yeah. So I knit 30 squares, right? And those last few yellow and solid yellow and solid teal, turquoise colored ones were kind of mind-numbing and a bit of a challenge. So what do? The minute I'm done, I cast on 2 more. I can't stand to have empty needles, but these are for my sock yarn, or my Barn Raising Quilt, not Tristan. So mine is a hodgepodge. It's no 2 squares are the same. So, and this is some leftover Felici, and this is an Opal Little Prince. So I have both of those going, and then just because I like this as my travel project, I've sort of been put off from knitting socks lately, and this is a good substitute for me. So those are my like in the purse, just grab it and go projects. And that's really hot in here. So I took off my jacket. Yeah, I can see that it's 76 degrees. That's outside my comfort zone, but I don't want to turn on the AC unit and have all the noise and the whirring. And so I'll just take off a layer and we'll go with it. Right? Right. So I spent about 6 or 8 hours this week. No joke, 6 or 8 hours of prime knitting time, half knitting and half searching around on Rav, looking for inspiration. So I have done, foreshadowing, a really great job getting down my UFOs, working through stash. I'm really happy with that progress, but as I said before, I'm a little bit nervous that doing those things is not motivating me to knit. And I cannot imagine my life without knitting. And this week, I sort of hit an all-time low on Monday night. Those squares, the yellow and the green, and I was just like, okay, I've got to go out and really engage myself and find some knitting motivation, because if I don't knit, I don't know what I would do with my hands in the evening. Like, it's not my hobby, it's my main interest besides my children. Like, I have work, I have the boys and Steve, and I have knitting. Those are the 3 big quadrants or circles of my life. And to feel completely lost in one of those circles, the knitting circle, and just be like, I don't know what to do, where am I? I can't let that happen. I cannot lose my knitting. That is my thing. So I spent a lot of time searching around on Rav and, well, what do I feel like? What am I interested in right now? And I came out of it after spending all these evenings and early mornings just searching, listening to podcasts and searching. I realized a couple things. So I'm really motivated to work some color work right now. That is the technique that I am most interested in engaging in for my knitting that involves my brain, right? So I always have either socks or a square, something simple. There's always going to be that slot in my whips for a project like that. That's your take along, that's your late at night. I can't think right now, but my hands need to be doing something. So I'm always going to have that. But I feel like there's always a place for color work, cables, lace, charted, sweater construction, because that requires a little more thinking. It's not straight stockinette as far as I'm concerned by the time I do all the shaping and whatnot. So right now I feel like I want to do some color work. I want to do some color work mitts. So searching around, and I will show you what I think should be next up on my needles. I bought a couple patterns as a result, and don't worry, here's the happy ending of the story. After doing all this and finding what was interesting me, I am at a good place with my knitting. So not gonna be chilling out with knitting anytime soon. Check this out. These are the Winter is Coming knits by Anne-Lee Hansen. Yeah, we have our best friends. He loves Game of Thrones. So I'm thinking I will knit these for him. He's House Stark 100% all the way, forever, and he's read all the books, and I think that would be a great gift for him. So I'm thinking about that. I'm also, okay, warning, this is explicit. These are How Cold Is It mittens by Drunk Girl Designs. They are just tickling my funny bone in such a way that every time I think about them, it's been several days, I just keep laughing, and I really want to knit them. Now, I have an emerging reader, so I'm thinking that either I knit them for me and he will never notice because my hands, he's not going to be reading my hands. I do that and pretend it's not what it is. I could put a hashtag for the U, or I could change it to, instead of cold as, it could be cold is fun. So I might do that. I just think they're so funky and so tongue-in-cheek that they're perfect and they make me laugh. So, and I want to knit them in that color, just straight up. I don't care if it matches my coat. I think my coat's gray. Oh my gosh, I don't remember what color my winter coat is, my long wool coat. have a few. Anyways, so I did that. I was also thinking, okay, self-striping, I'm not in the mood for socks, but I still want to keep working on my self-striping. So Elizabeth Green Musselman, your Frankenfingers found their way into my shopping cart. So the Stockinette Zombies, their thread for their not a self-striping socks knit along that they're running right now. They had a thread with almost 200 entries of people posting patterns, some repeats, but not very many, of things to knit with self-striping yarn. So I was like, okay, that's great. So I bought those. I'm on track for doing that. I was also thinking beyond techniques, beyond the carry along project, what else do I want to do? I thought about my Christmas knitting. As I said, I'm thinking about those fingerless knits from Nate. But thinking about my parents or Steve or the teachers, none of that is motivating me. I don't want to knit Christmas gifts. I don't want to knit for my coworkers. I don't want to knit for the teachers. I just don't want to right now. That doesn't mean I won't. It just means that's not going to drive me to be like, yeah, let me squeeze in an extra 5 minutes of knitting versus, okay, I guess I'll knit on this. So, no, nothing there. That wasn't it. End projects always motivate me. So I want that item, which is part of the reason why my job is such a perfect fit for me, because I love seeing what's coming in the coming seasons and helping work towards the development of those items and saying, you know, yeah, that sweater, that's a beautiful sweater. You know, if you tweak this one thing right here or change that color out, it'd be gorgeous. And then they go make it up in the factory in no time at all. It's not at all like hand knitting, but I loved that aspect of it, of the product. Ooh, it just got really dark, huh? So thinking about that, even though it is currently, I think it's 90 degrees outside today with like 129% humidity. It's so hot and gross outside lately, and it will be for the next 5 days. But I'm thinking about winter accessories that I like. And as much as shawl knitting is fun, well, it's fun to a point with me. I sort of burnt out on shawl knitting. I never ended my love affair with socks, but I definitely cut back on the shawls because they're just not so wearable. But the shawl cowl, I think Hillary, I've got her name written down, Hillary Smith Callis has the corner on that. Like, she just keeps busting out designs. They're beautiful, and so I bought one of those and I cast it on at like 5 a.m. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, because I haven't been sleeping much either lately. Falling asleep on the couch at 8 o'clock, not really motivated to knit much, and then waking up at 4:45. And Tristan's sleeping until 6:30, so it's not his fault. I'm just laying there awake. So yes, I queued it the night before. I got up the next morning, bought the pattern, and off and running. So this is the Luna Veritas cowl. I am using my Three Waters Farm Honky Tonk colorway, which is for the Knit Girls Knit Along, Summer Knit Along, and that has to be done by the end of August. So I'm perfect to be casting this on now. And it's going to be, I do have a picture to show you. I don't think I'm giving anything away from that, but it's going to be a gorgeous shawl cowl thing to wear around my neck. Like, infinity loops, super popular. They're still going to be popular. I'm not such a fan of knitting them, but yeah. So I'm going to knit some products for me that I want to wear this fall. So you may see several of these cowls come onto my needles. And if, like this one, I might not love it so much. Like, I have this great really deep forest green that I wanted to use, but I also was aware of the knit along, and I don't want this yarn to sit in my stash and not get used. So I said, okay, just use it. It's not so highly variegated that the pattern won't show, I'm hoping. And if I don't like the way the finished result is, I'll call this my test knit. I'll give it as a Christmas gift, and I'll knit the green, which is what I envisioned, probably because of the sample in the picture. I'll knit that instead for me. So I'm doing this. I'm having a great time. I've taken lunch a couple days this week so I can work on it. Like, it's good. It's spending that amount of time served its purpose. And I have some things on the horizon that I'm really excited about, and I have some new yarn that I'm excited about. Oh, I should probably tell you, this is size 6, 4mm needles on this, and it's really drapey. I probably should have gone to a 5. That's another reason why I'm thinking, well, maybe this will be my test knit and I'll do the real thing in the green. But Hillary Smith Callis has quite a few patterns out there, so maybe I'll knit a different one. I don't know. But I will tell you that the Three Waters yarn is an 80/20 merino nylon, and it is very soft and squishy. They are doing something right over there dyeing their yarn. So I did get some new yarn, and that's also motivating for me. I won! So I have officially done 2.5 years. So I've knit 30 pairs of socks for the Stockinette Zombies self-striping monthly cal that they've run for 2.5 years. And this past month, I won. So this is Two Sisters Yarn Company, and it's Silver Lining Rainbow. It's a self-striping with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and variegated gray blue sky. 425 yards of an 80/20. I don't know. Oh, it's got stellina in it. 75 merino, 20 nylon, 5% stellina. Isn't that gorgeous? I've never heard of them, so I'm really excited to use this. It's not something I would have bought. So Two Sisters Yarn Company. So that's in the mail. I feel like I've turned a corner. Do you feel it? I feel it. So let's see, that's what's next and what's on my needles. I sort of ran it all together. In terms of Stash Dash, so last week I forgot to give you an update, and since I don't have any FOs this week, my update is the same. So I am currently 71% finished with Stash Dash. I have knit 3,890 yards, and I have 1,880 yards of a blanket to go. So that's how much I've knit for the blanket. Once I add that in, assuming no edging on the blanket, just seam it up and call it done, I've gone over the Stash Dash line. So, oh my God. And I'm just realizing Stash Dash ends in like 2 weeks. I really need to get seaming that up. Oh, it was so cute. The night that I finished the last squares, the boys and I were home alone. Steve was running, I think, something. He was busy. Anyways, he's doing a lot of running. He's training for the New York Marathon. So if you're in New York in November and you want to meet up, I'm going to be there for the marathon, but along with a lot of other people, I suspect. But the boys helped me lay out different patterns of the blanket. And I put some pictures on Instagram. I'll probably share some here just because they were so funny, and Tristan just wanted to eat them or scream at them, like hold on to the squares and scream at them, and Roland wanted to build his nest and put them all in a pile and sit on top. I was just like, this is what I've spent hours working on, so these two could act crazy, but they had fun playing with it, and I turned it into an educational thing with Roland, you know, let's sort the colors, and then we worked on putting them in order, different orders, so I think it worked out well. We had a good time doing it. Anyways, so Mission 2015 update! All right, so I'm shooting for 12 pairs of socks. I have knit 7 pairs so far this year. It is July 31st, so I'm right on track. I'm probably taking, as I said, I'm taking a break from socks, so I might not finish that one. And I'm okay with that because really, I want a skein yarn. That wasn't the only reason I was doing it, but yeah, I just need a little bit of time from socks. They kind of feel pointless. I have a huge sock drawer, and I have a huge bin in the garage full of socks, and everyone I know has socks, and I know you might be watching this thinking, Stephanie, you can knit me a pair of socks. That's about where I'm at. But I have so much glorious sock yarn that it would be a shame to stop. So I'm just gonna take a break until I knit all the squares that I possibly could for my So I think I've got 7 or 8 little skeins that I can knit into my blanket, knit some of my swap mini skeins, and then see if I'm motivated to knit socks again after doing some barn raising quilt squares. Okay, so quilt squares, I haven't done any new ones for the, well, I group them by 4s. So yes, I did knit one new one, but I haven't done a batch of 4 to enter in onto my barn raising quilt. So sweaters, for me, my goal was to knit 2. I did finish the 2010 cardigan after already finishing the Miranda and the Grace. So I am at 3 finished sweaters for the year, which I'm kind of okay with that because my goal was to knit each of the boys a sweater and to knit 2 for me. And if I just knit 3 for me, who's going to appreciate a sweater more? I do still want to knit Tristan some sort of Norwegian color work stranded sweater for Christmas this year, and I did find these mitts. I'm sorry I didn't write down the name of them, and there's only one project out there, so I was hesitant. That's why I didn't buy it. But they're children's mittens, and they have a mushroom on them with the bunny hopping around it, and then a different bunny pattern below that, so it has 2 different motifs. I am seriously tempted to work up a color work, like a basic sweater, and then put those mushrooms and bunnies all around the yoke for Tristan. I think that would be very, very cute. So we'll see. Still thinking on that. But definitely haven't knit the boys their 2 sweaters. End with Bless in 2014. So yes, yes, yes. I started the year with 164 miles of yarn. And for the 2nd month in a row in like, I would say 2.5 years, in the same time period, I have less than I started the month with. Yay, bravo! Like seriously, I need some sort of clap sound here. Like, I am so thrilled with that. I am down 1.5 miles out of my stash. 1.5 miles. So I am at 169.2. So maybe I'll get to 168 even next month. I don't know though, because the blanket came out of that yardage already. Yeah, I haven't counted it for Stash Dash, but I've counted it out of my stash itself. But Stash Dash is definitely helping me work through. So I am thrilled about that. And then whips. I started the year with 29 projects. And my goal is to get to 15 by the end of the year. So between frogging and finishing, I've done quite a bit of that this month. I currently have 5 active projects, which is what I standard for me have on my needles. And I have 13 hibernating projects, so that's 18. I am almost there. Yes, so I am down 6 from last month. So I finished the cardigan, the Christmas balls, and the baby hats. And I frogged the beat knit sweater and the Zeg socks. And I frogged something else. I want to say it was the calendar. It was the cowl. It was, because I threw it in the trash can. Yes, it was the blue Angora cowl. So there, that was the 3rd thing. It was bugging me that I could only track down 5 things. So those are the 6 that are done and off the needles. So I expect it's going to go up because I'm going to cast on some new things pretty quick here, but it's okay. It's okay. I got to the point of 18 and I pulled out a sweater and looked at it, read through the instructions, found where I was, and then put it back away. When I was searching for things to motivate me, that was one thing I thought, well, if I pick up a sweater that's half done, I'm half done already. But no, I wasn't in a good headspace for that. So I don't know how many of my UFOs, what's going to happen, those 13. But 13 is great. I don't think I've ever had 13 hibernating. It's been a very long time. So that's exciting. Other places to find the show. So just want to mention here quickly, we all know Blip has gone away. I know a lot of people have had a love-hate relationship with Blip. They were who hosted me when I first started podcasting back in January 2010. So I've been with Blip that long. I've been other places too, because you know they threatened to kick us all off. But yeah, it's just kind of sad to me to see them go. I mean, more than 5 years I've gone there every 10 days or so and worked on their site and used their analytics. And so I'm kind of sad. I don't need them, but nothing's going to change on your end. So I will stop updating the Blogspot blog. I will only use the WordPress blog. Yeah, you can still find the episodes on iTunes and YouTube. I'm trying to think, and you can find them on the WordPress blog, and that's where you're going to find me now. Yeah, and I think that's it, right? So there's a pretty good selection back there on the WordPress blog. Yeah, so you can see all the way back, the first few handful up to today. So with that, I think I'm going to leave it right there and say that's enough of me talking, because this was supposed to be a short episode. I only had 2-3 things to show you, but I've rambled, as I sometimes do. So I hope you have a great 10 days or so. Hey, maybe I'll have a blanket finished to show you next time. I was thinking about that. I was actively contemplating not recording until I finished the blanket to use that as a driving force. But then the last 3 nights I didn't do any seaming, so I thought, oh, this is not fair to them. So record, but maybe I won't see you. Or maybe next time I see you I'll have a finished blanket. Wouldn't that be lovely? Because it'll be like August 10th and just about the end of Stash Dash. So I really should. Oh my goodness. I hope you enjoy what's going on in your knitting and the last bits of summer. Well, it's not really the last bits, but the hot bits, the parts I don't like. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bless you. You like that better? It's your yarn. Yeah. Do you like your yarn? And you want a blanket knit with that yarn? You say yes. Yes. Mommy knit it. Okay, thank you. Still likes your throat. Holland, I love you.
The street is carrying a newspaper.
Okay, but I love you.
I love you the best.
What? You're crazy. What are you doing?